This week on Expedition Texas, we're in Galveston, where our expedition is going to take us out here into Galveston Bay.
Texas is full of lost history, from lost cemeteries to abandoned buildings, from the infamous to the obscure. Hitch a ride and travel across the Lone Star State, looking for hints of Texas' colorful past, our lost history. This is Expedition Texas, and we're gonna find it.
We've had a lot of viewer emails suggesting that we come to Galveston, Texas, head out into Galveston Bay, and find the sunken SS Selma. Now, we didn't do it because that poses all kinds of production problems. Number one being, I don't want to go diving with the sharks. Steel shortages during World War I led the U.S. government to commission the construction of experimental concrete ships, the largest of which is the SS Selma. The Selma was an oil tanker built in 1919 by F.F. Lay and Company, Mobile, Alabama. The Selma was launched that same year, and less than a year later, she hit a jetty in Tampico, Mexico, ripping a 60-foot hole in the hull. The ship was towed to Galveston for repairs, but those efforts failed. In 1922, she was laid to rest, partially submerged off Pelican Island in Galveston Bay. Turns out the Selma is not fully submerged, so there's plenty to see with no diving involved. Our first stop was the Galveston Historical Association. I knew if anybody could tell me the story of the Selma, that they could. So we saw Jamie White, an expert on the cargo ships in Galveston. Well, the reason we're here is we figured you would have information that we need on a concrete ship that is sitting partially submerged in Galveston Bay called the SS Selma. What do you know about that one?
Well, the SS Selma is an interesting vessel. Okay. She was built right at the end of the First World War here in the Gulf Coast in Mobile, Alabama. Named the Selma after the citizens of Selma, Alabama that raised funds during the First World War for her construction.
Awesome.
Unfortunately, she was launched right on the Armistice Day with the war with Germany, etc., and she never saw action, and then had a little bit of an accident.
Jamie told us a little bit of the information we wanted to know about the SS Selma, but then he said he had something else he wanted us to see. But what could be cooler than an old sunken ship? How about a much older ship that's still sailing to this day?
Really? We have a ship here from 1877, the Iron Bark Alyssa.
Okay.
That first called in Galveston in 1883 and is still out here sailing. In fact, we're getting ready to go sailing next week, and I'd love to show you and talk to you a little bit about that
one ship. That's still operating.
She's still operational. We have 30,000 hours a year in volunteer labor, and we're ready to go.
Well, before we go see the Selma, I definitely want to see this. Show me where it is.
Okay, follow me. Well, here she is, Bob, the 1877 Iron Bark Alyssa. She is quite a vessel, a little over 200 feet long. She has 19 sails, about 12,000 square feet of canvas, which is quite a lot. A modern sailboat might have 800, so 12,000 is quite a bit. She's 151 feet on deck, and she's 400 tons of beautiful wrought iron 19th century craftsmanship.
Well, I see people walking around on board. Can we get on board?
Yeah, we can. Follow me. We'll walk right on down this way. Well, Bob, welcome aboard, Alyssa. As you can see, she's quite a ship. We're getting ready, as I mentioned, for our annual day sails. So you'll notice there are a lot of people up in the rigging. We have volunteers varnishing the quarter deck. You can see we have freshly tarred rigging all here that's glistening black. We have bright new varnish on a lot of different surfaces. Without the volunteers, the ship would just be a static museum piece slowly sinking.
So I noticed there's like rooms, and what are all these?
Well, this is a deck house structure. This is where the galley was. Okay. If you take a look inside, you'll notice that there is a wood-burning stove.
Awesome.
That's the exact configuration that she would have had back in the 1870s. Yeah. There would have been a donkey engine, which was a very small steam engine for handling cargo, because remember, she was at undeveloped ports, so they didn't have shoreside cranes.
And I noticed up here behind me this big shiny bell.
Why don't you ring it twice? Two bells.
All right.
Ding, ding.
All right.
Well done. Right here, we're standing at the foremast. The height of the masts on Alyssa are right around 99 feet high, and under each mast there is a coin. You know, sailors are a very superstitious lot, and the tradition is to put a coin under your mast so that if the ship comes to grief, the crew have a means to pay Sharon, who was the boatman on the River Styx, to get across to the next life. So that's quite interesting, and we carry on that tradition here. Well, Bob, what do you think of her?
I love it so far. This is so cool.
She is a handsome ship. We are so proud of her.
Now what's down here?
Well, down here, this is where the crew slept. We have we have 8 bunks down there, and if you were a crew member on board the ship, this is where you would have berthed.
Wow.
And it's an interesting area to berth because it's right up in the bow of the ship.
Yeah.
And after a while in the late 1800s, they actually outlawed having crew down here because in a collision, guess what happens to the front of the ship?
The crew.
Exactly. They get squashed. So they enacted legislation to prevent crew from living up here in the bow in the forecastle. But that's where 8 of them lived and had a good time.
Yeah. What's that big, looks like a pit down here?
Well, this is the forehatch, and we have, since we don't carry cargo anymore, actually I should say the cargo we carry are not goods, but history and the experience of learning how to sail on a ship like this. So our cargo are people and our guests, and this is, instead of a cargo hold, we have accommodations for crew down there, etc. And
it's a long way down there.
It's a long way down there.
Deeper than it looks.
It is. It is. It is.
And I noticed up here behind me this big shiny bell.
Ah, I know you want to ring it, don't you?
Can I ring the bell?
You can ring it. I tell you what. Let's see. It's about 1600, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That would have been the change of watch. That would have been 8 bells. But I tell you what, since you're still a green hand, why don't you ring it twice? 2 bells.
All right.
Ding ding.
All right.
Well done.
Yeah.
Now, if the bosun starts yelling, run that way.
That way.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna go ahead and hide around this side anyway.
Well, welcome to the quarterdeck, Bob. If you were one of Alyssa's crew members, this area was off limits unless you had work to do back here. This was officer country.
Really?
Really, yes. The crew basically was always forward of this location. This is the area that the ship's captain and the officer of the watch, or the mates, would direct the operation of the vessel when we were underway. So unless you had work to do back here, you were at the wheel, which is behind us, astern of us, or if you had engaged in some activity, you just couldn't come back here and skylark or lollygag.
Yeah.
And as you can see, there was plenty of work that the mates could put you to task at. You could be tarring the rigging, you could be up in the rigging like she is. In fact, about the location where she is up in the rigging is where the only sailor who fell from the rigging fell from that spot and hit the main rail down here, the main fife rail, and unfortunately died. That was back in the late 1800s. So we haven't had, touch wood, we've had a very safe record since then.
So is she safe up there now? How is she held on?
Now we have safety harnesses and a going aloft protocol. You need to pass a climbing test, and there are certain qualifications that we require for someone to work aloft.
Wow. But, and what were the requirements in 1800 when the guy fell?
I think basically you had to have strong grip. You know, there was no safety belt. It was one hand for yourself, one hand for the ship.
And his grip just didn't cut it.
No, there was something. He was furling a sail, the mizzen topmast staysail, which is in that area, and it was at night, and unfortunately he fell to his death.
Wow. Well, you know, the whole thing, this is so interesting. What's neat is how well it's being preserved, and the fact that it's going out on the water every year and getting ready for another voyage right now as we speak. This has been very interesting. I appreciate you showing us around. Well, thank you
so much, and I encourage anyone in the Houston area to come down and watch us go sailing next week and the following week. We'll be putting on quite a show out in the Gulf of Mexico, and I'm very proud of our volunteers and also Galveston Historical Foundation and their vision in originally saving this ship.
The Alyssa is an amazingly preserved piece of Texas history, but our boat was there and it was time to head out into the ocean and see the ruins of the SS Selma.
Okay, well, good luck with the Selma.
We're in Galveston, Texas, hoping to see the ruins of the SS Selma, a concrete ship that was laid to rest in Galveston Bay in 1922 and abandoned ever since. After touring the restored Elissa, we're waiting at Pier 21 for a ride to the ruins of the giant tanker. Hey, how's it going?
How you doing? Captain JJ.
Hey, Captain JJ, I'm Bob. So are you taking us out to the SS Selma now?
Yes, sir. I sure am.
And you know where it is?
I know exactly where it's at.
We're going to find it, no
Yes,
problem.
sir. No problem.
All right, man, let's go. Let's get on the boat.
Let's get on.
Oh, wow, is this the boat? Oh, wait, this is yours. Okay. All right.
Right here.
Okay. We chartered a boat with Caribbean Breeze out of Galveston. Now they offer boat rentals, boat tours, and even parasailing trips. Our captain was Captain JJ.
All right, I got these fenders here. When we pull up to the ship, I want you to just go ahead and put it over the side of the boat just to keep it fended off, just so it doesn't smash the ship and damage our pole.
Yeah. No, we're not worried about damaging the old concrete ship.
No, we're not worried about that.
We're not worried about that one. All right.
All right.
All right, man. Sounds good. Captain JJ's got it going on. We're going now. Wish I would have had a captain's hat. I wonder if he'll let me drive. We loaded up in the Troublemaker and headed out to see the ruins of the SS Selma. We skipped across the water for about a mile off of Galveston Island, and then we came upon the SS Selma. Now, when you approach it from the angle we did, can't really tell what it is, but as you begin to circle it, you can tell this is definitely an old sunken ship. Well, it looks like you got us here, man.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you get on here and the boat floats away, what do we do?
Just let it go.
How far do we have to swim? Oh, there's land over there. All right.
It doesn't look far, but it's far.
It doesn't look far, but it is when the water's moving. So we're on board the SS Selma right now. This thing is nearly 100 years old. I mean, it was built in 1919. Here we are standing aboard it in 2015, and it's been sitting here all this time. It's amazing. On board the SS Selma, all we really could see was tons of old rebar and old concrete slowly crumbling away into the ocean. This thing's been out here in the ocean for nearly 100 years. So parts of the deck obviously had broken off and fallen in, and you could see rooms and chambers of the ship down below that were full of water. We've got like rooms, little doors. This is all steel, like rebar framing that we're looking at here. I have a technical question for you here. The front of the boat is the
bow.
The
back of the boat is the stern.
The back of the boat is the stern. So
right side of the boat is starboard.
Okay. Starboard.
Left side of the boat is port.
Okay. And we're headed toward the bow right now.
Yes, sir.
Captain JJ turned out to be pretty helpful in helping us learn the parts of the ship. Normally when we go and explore lost history, abandoned buildings, abandoned things like this, ships, we have somebody as a guide. And there's no way we would have gotten out here if it wasn't for you guys at Caribbean Breeze. Tell us, what is Caribbean Breeze? What do you guys do?
Caribbean Breeze is a boat rental / jet ski, kayak, and parasail.
Yeah.
So basically anything on the water, we got it.
Really?
Yes,
and
sir.
so if you want to come to Galveston and have some fun and really experience what it's like out here, then you need to come see Captain JJ. Now, how do they get a hold of you guys?
Our phone number and website. We have 409-740-0400, and our website is www.galvestonboatrentals.com.
Wow, if you fall through this, people, it's straight down into water that we can't see the bottom of. I wish that you could get the idea of how freaky this is. I mean, this is like, it looks like, I'm kind of afraid we're going to see a body come floating by here, because there's all these little places punched, these little holes punched through here where it looks like people have been standing pretty much where I am right now and fell through. And it's kind of a mangled mess down there of all this old rusty steel. So we're headed toward the bow right now, and I wonder what all these holes are. Holy cow, look at this. There's still chambers of the ship you can get into. Wonder how you get down there. What is that swirling down there?
Shad. That's a bait fish.
That's fish?
Yes.
That's a lot of fish, man.
That is. It's a big school.
Golly. I think the only thing left to do is go into the only interior portion of the ship we can get into at the bow. Yeah, let's go. We're in Galveston Bay, where we're about to explore the remains of the SS Selma, a tanker built in 1919 and severely damaged just 1 year later. The damage proved to be irreparable and led to the ship being ditched just off Pelican Island in Galveston Bay, where it sat for nearly a century, abandoned. I think the only thing left to do is go into the only interior portion of the ship we can get into at the bow. Yeah, let's go. All right. This was a log, man. This was wood. Look at this. Wow. That was wood. Look at that. Well, I've been in old cemeteries, old prisons, old hospitals, old schools, old hotels, but this is the first time I've ever been in an old sunken ship. And here we are. Hey man, look, a water slide.
That's actually a porthole for the anchor. If you look right into this hole right here, you can see out of the boat where the anchor would hang. When they needed that, they drop the anchor, let the boat float back away from the anchor, and then it's anchored. Simple as that.
You know, it's obvious that people do come out here and visit this. I don't recommend it. It doesn't look very safe. Good grief. We're going in under now into a room and trying to show you some of the wood. And to do this, I'm leaned over. Matt has my belt buckle, and we're leaned over trying to show you. And JJ's got the light down in here. But oh yeah, that's really good. You can see this is the wood that was in the sub-level of the ship down at the bow of the ship, and we're going to try to turn down and see as much as we can. I don't think any of the people who've been coming out here drinking beer have been in this section. No, this is all the wood, the original structure at the bow of the ship. If people wanted to, would you bring them out here to see this?
Yes.
Really?
Of course.
So.
Just be very careful.
Yeah, be very careful, and not recommended that you board it. We're crazy, see, that's why we're here.
Don't wear sandals.
Don't wear sandals, yeah, I'm worried he's gonna get his feet sliced up. There's mangled up rebar everywhere on this thing. All right, Captain JJ, I called this a window, but it's really called a?
Porthole.
Porthole. I'm gonna go look through the porthole. And I guess on a tanker, why would they be looking out this thing? Or would they be looking out that? Would they be aiming a gun out this thing?
No.
No.
Not on here.
Not on here.
Not on
what is this for?
Just to look out of.
Just to look out of. Well, I'm going to look out of it then. Okay, I've officially looked out of a porthole. How long do you think they stayed out on a ship like this?
On
Just
a ship
guessing.
like this, I mean, they could stay out for months at a time.
Really?
Yes.
Man. And we're talking just concrete and steel.
Concrete and steel. Just depends on where they're going.
Not really much protected from the element. And so I imagine it must have been a bit of a scary thing whenever they hit this thing and they got a big old 60-foot crack in the hull of it.
Oh yeah.
And then had to get towed back to Galveston for repairs that didn't work.
Didn't work.
Definitely a fun thing to explore. It's massive. It's just sitting out here in the middle of Galveston Bay. There's a lot of rust on there. A lot of rust that's ready to poke you and stab you in your foot, especially when you're wearing sandals, Captain JJ. And just when we thought our day was complete, we made some new friends on the way to shore. Whoa, dolphins! Dolphins! See them? Ah, get that close. That is so cool.